Oh, and on my tripod's trying to fall. These are the times when I wish I had other people in my life so that I could be quarantined with someone. Okay, I think we've got you. Okay, so we are going to start in Sukhasana, easy pose. Very intuitive of you. We're gonna start with our hands coming to the knees. You can have the palms face down for grounding or face up to receive the energy of the universe. The eyes coming down to a close. Just tuning in here, tuning into your breath. And just noticing without judgment and without trying to change anything. The tempo of your breath flowing in and out, perhaps the temperature of it. And tuning into your body as well. Just doing a quick scan through, noticing anywhere where you feel sensation. You holding on to tension or gripping anywhere. Now coming to find your anchor point. There's no right or wrong here, just noticing where in the body you most feel the breath. So this could be your nostrils, your throat, the chest, the belly. Just finding this point and tuning in. Again, no judgment here, just observing your breath as it flows in and out through the nose. We're going to take a couple of cleansing breaths here just to let go of our day. So this is going to look like a deep inhale through the nose, suspending the breath for a moment at the top, and then opening the mouth and exhale, sighing that out. So deep inhale through the nose, suspending the breath for a moment, and opening the mouth, exhale, sigh. Again, inhale through the nose, holding the breath for a moment, perhaps sipping in a tiny bit extra air, opening the mouth and sigh. Last one, let this one be your loudest one yet. Find that last little bit of tension residing in your body, gather it up with your inhale, and opening the mouth. Let it go. You can open the eyes a little bit here. We're going to start to move the upper body, coming into Sufi grind. So starting to rotate the upper body around, feeling into the hips here. You can make your circles as big or as small as you like. Just inhaling forward and exhaling back. You can close down the eyes here. And if it feels comfortable, you can start to bring the head and the neck into the motion, really moving with your body and your breath. And the next time you come forward, just switching directions. Letting the body move how it feels best. And completing your last exhale, coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to remove our props and come into tabletop position for some cat-cows. So coming with your wrists stacked under your shoulders and your knees stacked under your hips. You're going to inhale and drop the belly down, opening the sternum to the front of the room, lifting the gaze up. And exhale, start to curl that under, pressing into the palms to shoot up into your lower back. Squeezing that last little bit of air out, navel to spine. Inhale, dropping the belly. Keeping these inhales in and out the nose, nice and deep. You can switch on your Ujjayi breath if that's in your practice. Just getting a bit of that oceanic sound, feeling the breath coursing through your throat, flowing with your breath here. If it feels comfortable, you can start to rotate into the rib cage a little bit. Inhaling, dropping down into your cow, moving into the side body, and then exhaling, squeezing that out in angry cat, and moving to the other side, rotating around. And switching directions when it feels right. And coming back to a neutral spine after your last exhale. We're going to bring the big toes together at the back of the mat, opening the knees wide and sitting back into your child's pose. Arms can come forward. If you need a break on your shoulders, you can also bring the arms down by the body. Shaking the head out, yes and no, working the tension out of the forehead. Just connecting with your breath here. Taking a moment to root into the hands while pressing the tailbone back, creating some traction in the spine. Beautiful. And sinking forward, coming to your belly for cobra pose. So you want to keep the legs zipped up together, the feet pressing into the mat, leaving the hands under the shoulders. You're going to start to peel the shoulders back and using the strength of the back to peel your chest open. Lifting up the hands for a moment. Excellent. Coming back down, third eye to the ground. Pressing through your hands, you can come through tabletop and pop up into your downward facing dog. Now I'll ask you to come sideways here just to really get a view on the alignment. So really rooting into those fingers and knuckles, pressing back through, letting the head drop through the shoulders, extending the back long. You can pedal out your dog. Now checking in with not only the knees but the elbows here. Making sure that you've got a little bit of a bend. You never want to be hyperextending here. The knees can always be bent in a downward facing dog. It's not primarily used as a hamstring stretch. So there's nothing wrong with bending those knees. Let's tilt the tailbone up to the sky, navel to spine. Feel a little bit of engagement in your core. Perfect. It's beautiful. You can bring the knees down to the ground and just crawl your way back to your mat so you don't have to stay sideways there. And I'll get you just to pop back up into your downward dog here. Taking a deep breath in and opening the mouth. Exhale that out. Taking an inhale, gazing up at the thumbs. And you can take a nice big step or a bunch of little steps or a hop up to your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. You can bend into the knees here, draping the upper body over the feet. You can rock side to side. Reaching for opposite elbows. Shaking the head yes and no. Really releasing into that forward fold, feeling the lower back release. And bring a big bend into the knees like a rag doll. Start to roll up slowly, slowly. When you reach the top, shoulders will roll up and back. And the head is the last thing to come up. Perfect. We're going to come into Tadasana here, mountain pose. So looking down at your feet, let's root into all four corners of your feet and just lift the toes slightly. Really feeling that activation in the arches of the feet. Keeping that feeling of activation, slowly lowering the toes back to the ground. and energetically pulling up through the earth. You want to engage the quads, bring the knees up the legs, starting to drop the tailbone to the floor, tucking the pelvis, navel to spine, rolling the shoulders up and back to open across your chest space, palms come facing forward. Mountain pose. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, checking with the rib cage, making sure that that's staying knitted together, that the shoulders are dropping away from the ears. And we're going to exhale our left arm down to the side leg, inhaling to create space in the side body, keeping that shoulder down, and exhale like you're coming up over a beach ball, bending down to the side, letting that left hand draw down your leg. Gaze can be at your elbow or the ground, breathing into that side body, checking in with your feet, noticing where your weight is. And inhaling back up to center. Exhaling, dropping that right arm down the side, inhaling to create space, and exhaling up and over your beach ball, coming into that side bend, breathing into that side body, equal weight in both feet, and inhale, come back to center. And you can exhale the hands down. We're going to come into willow tree pose here, which is quite a fun little bit of movement. I'm going to try and get so you can see me. I might not be able to see me in the camera, but we're going to start to sway our body side to side, letting the arms swing freely, lifting up that heel so you don't torque the knee, and allowing the hands to tap the body here. Just waking up those hips, lower back, breathing here. And slowly letting your swings become a little smaller until you come back to stillness at the center. Fabulous. We're going to come back to Tadasana at the front of the mat here. And we're going to move into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So again, gazing down at your feet, rooting into all four corners of the feet. When we step back into a lunge, we want to make sure that we are keeping the feet the equal distance apart, same hip distance apart that they were when we were in Tadasana, so that we keep that stability. So go ahead and step your right leg back. Keeping that foot out wide, there we go. Checking in with your front knee, noticing that it's staying lined up over the ankle joint. And you can drop that back knee, untuck the toes. And we're going to come into our hip flexor a little bit. So beginning to lean forward slightly. Again, if you need to wiggle out your front foot so that that knee stays aligned with your ankle joint, you can go ahead. As previously discussed, I am aware of your very flexible hips. So in this pose, we're going to invite in a lot of stability here. So while you do want to be leaning into that hip flexor, you also want to think of bringing your hips together. So energetically pulling that front hip back while pushing that front hip forward so that they're nice and even. Hands can come to the hips to feel that. Now again, dropping that tailbone down, tucking navel to spine, ribs are knitted in. Inhale the arms up overhead. Shoulders down away from the ears. And exhaling, you can bring the hands down to frame the front foot. And we're going to start to drop our bums back towards our heels, starting to lift the toes of that front foot, extending into your half split. Breathing into that hamstring. Again, checking in with the hips here, making sure that one hip hasn't swayed out of alignment here. You still want the hips to be even and feeling that stretch in your hamstring. Inhale, you can start to flatten that front foot and come back forward into your low lunge, arms sweep up. Take an inhale here. Again, making sure you're knitting in the ribs, navel to spine. And exhale, hands can come down on either side of the foot, leaning back into that half split again. Really lifting that toe up high, energetically just flexing those toes back towards your face. can start to drop that front foot again, coming back into your low lunge, tucking the back toes and lifting yourself up into your high crescent lunge, growing light in that back foot. You can bring the hands to the hips just for a little bit of extra stability and try and step up to meet your front foot. Yeah, easy peasy. So again, we're gonna do that on the other side now. So just feeling into your legs first before you step back. Does one side feel longer than the other? How do your hips feel? Just noticing that. And then gazing down at the feet, rooting into the feet, stepping that left leg back, hip width apart, finding stability here and then dropping that back knee, and then tucking the toes. Again, sinking into that hip flexor a bit, checking in, making sure that that knee is over the ankle joint. And now bringing strength and stability here. So think of almost pulling the heel and the knee towards each other to strengthen into those legs, bringing the hips towards each other. Tailbone draws down, navel to spine. Inhale the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, hands can come down to frame the foot. Starting to sit back towards your heel, flexing into that front foot, breathing into your hamstring and your half split. Ardha Hanumanasana. A whole mouthful. Breathing here, checking with the hips, making sure they're even. And dropping that front foot back down to the ground, sinking forward into your low lunge. Arms sweep up. Checking in with the hips, ribs. And exhaling the hands back down by that foot. Last time, sinking back into that half split. Really flexing those toes back towards the face, chin to shin. And inhaling, dropping that front foot, coming back to your low lunge. Hands can come to the hips here. Popping up into your crescent lunge, getting light in that back foot and stepping up to meet the front foot. Fabulous. Now we're already in Tadasana. We might as well do some sun salutations while we're here. I know you love a vinyasa. So we're gonna really root down in those feet, get strong in that mountain pose. Navel to spine, dropping that tailbone towards the ground. We're gonna inhale, the arms sweep up overhead. Palms come to touch. You can do a little baby back bend here if that feels comfortable. And exhale, swan dive, dropping forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. Planting the hands here, you can step or hop back to your high plank. And you can either take full chaturanga or drop knees, chest, chin. Beautiful, sweeping up into your cobra or upward dog. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet here. You can step one foot forward or take a hop back to the front of your mat into your forward fold. Exhale. Taking a deep bend in the knees, inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Palms come to touch, and exhale, palms come down to heart center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Taking a little baby back bend, and exhale, swan diving forward into your forward fold. Planting the hands, stepping or hopping back into your high plank. And exhaling, knees, chest, chin. Sweeping forward, inhaling into your upward facing dog. Exhale, lifting the hips high into your downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. Let's inhale through the nose and again, open the mouth and exhale, sigh that out. Inhale, gaze up at your thumbs, taking a bend in the knees. You can step or hop back up to the front of your mat. Perfect. Inhale, sweeping the arms back up overhead. Palms come to touch and exhale, hands come to Anjali Mudra, heart center. Let's do one more, shall we? Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Baby back bend here. Exhale, swan diving forward into your forward fold. Planting the hands, stepping or hopping back into your high plank. And exhaling, knees, chest, chin. And sweeping that forward into your upward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale, lifting the hips high, pressing through the hands into your downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. Inhale, gazing up at the thumbs. And I invite you to step up with your opposite leg. Ooh, wonky. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms come to touch, and hands come down to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking a breath here, seeing how that feels in the body. We are now going to root into our right foot, super strong. You can start to get light in your left foot. Yes, ma'am, we are coming into tree pose. So you can bring your heel to the ankle, toes can be a little kickstand on the ground, or you can just come right on up into the full expression, pressing with equal pressure in your heel and your thigh, gazing at a drishti, a focal point that is not moving. Hands at heart center. And when you feel ready, you can open your branches. Rooting down to rise up. Breathing here. And if you feel comfortable, you can even try and sway in the wind a little. It's been windy in Cayman. Let's flap around a little like those palm trees. And then as gracefully as we came up, slowly bringing the hands back to Anjali Mudra and releasing that foot from the leg and back down to the ground. Give that a wiggle. Beautiful. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. Let's root into our left foot now. Need I even mention the kickstand? Let's go on ahead and come into the expression of tree pose that feels right for you. Rooting that heel into that thigh, equal pressure, gazing at your unmoving drishti, hands at Anjali Mudra. And you can open your branches when you feel ready. And again, we're getting into hurricane season here. Let's take a little dance in the breeze. Excellent. Bringing the hands back through heart center. And slowly releasing that leg back down to the ground and give that a wiggle. Ooh! Now, why not build more strength in the legs, you ask? Well, we will. Let's get into the warrior poses. Coming to the front of your mat. We're going to do a variation of warrior one. The standard warrior one, as you know, with the foot planted at a 45-degree angle, that can torque your knee when you try to level the hips. So we're going to do a variation of that. It's going to just be a crescent lunge, essentially. So again, making sure that you're stepping back hip width apart, step back with that right foot, keeping that heel lifted. Now, checking in here, making sure that that knee is over the ankle joint. Dropping that tailbone down, tucking in the navel to spine, all the usual. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Nice and strong here. Feeling almost like you could tear your mat in half energetically with those feet, pressing into all four corners of the feet. Equal weight in the front foot and the back toes. Breathing space into the side bodies here. We're going to exhale, sweep that front arm back and open up into our warrior two. Dropping that heel down and aligning our feet, checking it in with your front heel, checking that it's aligned with the arch of your back foot. And when you bend deeply into that knee, again, making sure that the knee joint is over the ankle and that you can see your big toe. So think of opening up towards the pinky side, but again, with that hypermobility in the hips, you want to make sure that you're not opening too far. So staying strong in the legs here. Again, energetically pulling that kneecap up that back straight leg, rooting into the outer edge of the foot, tucking that tailbone. And you can flip the palms up just to roll the shoulders down the back and go back into your peaceful warrior. Beautiful. Coming back up into your warrior two, really bending into that front knee, feeling that burn. We are going to exhale, bring your front elbow down to your thigh and sweeping the arm up and overhead into your extended side angle. Breathing deeply into your side body here, pressing into that elbow to lift your rib cage up away from that bottom leg. Feeling a little bit of heat or tension in your abs here. And then exhaling, sweeping back up to our warrior two. Now straightening that front knee. Again, making sure to always keep little micro bends in those knees. We're gonna start to lean forward as if someone's pulling your hand, but your feet are stuck in quicksand. Lean, 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 and drop that front arm down. Let's put the weight of our hand on our shin here. Just instead of having the floating hand today, we're gonna really root into our leg. And again, we're gonna come down and really reopen that chest. Opening up to the sky, twisting open. Taking a couple of those. Gaze can be up at the thumb or down at the foot if that's comfortable for the neck. And again, checking in with the legs here, making sure that you're not hyperextending into the knees. And slightly bending into that front knee, pressing into the feet, tightening the core. We're gonna windmill our arms back up into our warrior two. Bending into that front knee. One last little burn there. And then we can straighten that front leg and twist those front toes to the side so that both feet are parallel. Hands come to the hips. Again, making sure you've got a little micro bend in your knees. Knees are coming energetically up the legs. Quads are engaged. Tucking that tailbone down. Navel to spine. You're going to protract the chin and think of painting with your chest and your chin down the front wall in front of you, hinging at the hips and starting to come forward into your wide-legged forward fold. Hands come to the ground. Let's take a little halfway lift here. Just flattening the back and exhale, dropping down. Hands can come back in line with the heels or grasp for opposite feet. Or I guess not opposite feet, but the feet that the hands line up with. That would be a crazy twist. Breathing here, keeping those legs active. Bringing the hands back under the face. We can start to lift ourselves up slightly into a halfway lift. Take a teeny tiny bend in our knees here, really engaging the core, making sure that you're using your core to lift yourself up slowly and not your back. Hands can come to the hips. And we're up. Now let's open the opposite toes to our warrior two, feet on the other side. Heel can line up with the arch of that back foot, sinking into that knee, tucking the pelvis, navel to spine. And we can flip the palms up to draw the shoulders down the back, and then leaning back into your exalted warrior, peaceful warrior. And inhaling, coming back to your warrior two. And straightening that front knee. Again, let's start to be pulled forward by that hand, forward, and drop that hand down to the shin. Again, you can drape your front arm down and then peel your chest open here. Checking in with the knees, making sure that they're not hyperextended, pulling them up the legs. Keeping that little micro bend. Again, gaze can be up at the thumb or down at the foot. And bringing a tiny little bend into that front knee, solidifying your abs and windmilling the arms back up into your warrior two. And dropping that front elbow down to the front thigh, coming into your extended side angle, sweeping that upper arm up overhead. Beautiful. Think of pulling energy from the earth through that rooted outer edge of that back foot and shooting it up through your fingertips. Inhaling back up to your warrior two. Now we're gonna sweep our back arm forward as we swivel our back heel up so that we come back into our warrior one variation facing the front. So popping that back heel. So you want it on your other leg, right? So go the other way. Yeah. I might have to remove that variation. I don't know if it works really. But you're in warrior one, aren't you? Looks like I did it. So growing light in that back foot, you can step that foot forward to meet the front foot. Woo. And we can just shake that off. Noticing how you feel in your body. Yes, just ragdoll that. Okay, we are gonna take a minute to do a little bit of crow play. Ooh, arm balances. So if you are nervous, you can bring something big and fluffy in front of your face. I don't know what I was gonna say there. Doesn't matter, obviously. So coming down into your little crouched pose, heels together. We are going to spread the fingers, root into the hands, bring them a little closer to the feet than you think you'll need. Now start to press into those hands almost as if you're gonna come over your wrists and into a handstand. That'll be the dream, right? We're gonna lift our bums up high and start to bring your knees into your shoulder area. You also want to make sure you're not leaning right on your triceps because then they're just going to go goodbye and disappear and you will fall. So you can bring them to the outsides of your arms and squeeze the knees in to move that tricep out of the way. Squeezing in your drishti, your gaze is going to be at the tip of your triangle in between your hands. Squeezing into the bandhas. Think of doing a little Kegel here. Squeezing up in that pelvic floor, the sex organs, the rectum, squeeze it all in and up and press into your shoulders. Come back down, wiggle that out. I find this very, very burny in my thighs. I can't hold a squat that long. So let's try to come into it once more and then we will move into our next seated set here. So again, bringing the bum up high. Knees come close to the shoulders or armpits and squeezing into that. Start to lift one leg and the other. Squeezing into the base of the pelvis. Yes, gaze is forward slightly. Perfect. Yes, great job, yay. Okay, so we are going to leave that on a good note, and we're gonna toss that pillow out of the way. We're gonna come down into our seated sequences here. So coming into staff pose, Dandasana, sitting on your bum with your legs straight out in front of you. And you're gonna flex the toes back towards you. The legs stay very active here. In yoga, we can't even sit chill. Okay, so we're gonna really activate those legs, pull those toes back towards your face. And you wanna make sure you're not sinking into your back here. You want to really come up high, grow tall out of your hip joints, and inhaling the arms up overhead. You can start to come forward over those legs just to where it's comfortable. Breathing into the lower back and into the hamstrings. You can have a slight bend in the knees here if that's comfortable. And slowly, slowly coming back up. We're gonna open our right leg out wide and then bring your left leg into your thigh, almost like a little seated tree pose here. And instead of bringing our bodies over the leg here, we're gonna find compression there. We're just gonna come right over this heel here. So come down to where you can with your flat back, and then you can grow tall with your inhale and start to curve into that. Breathing into the hips here. Creating space. I apologize, I don't know what my cat is doing. Just lost her mind. Inhaling, coming back up. And we're gonna switch sides. So popping that other leg out wide. Foot comes in. And inhaling, growing tall. And exhaling, coming forward, relaxing here. Again, keeping the outstretched leg, toes active. Inhaling slowly, coming back up. And we're gonna come into butterfly pose. So our feet are gonna come together. We're gonna keep the soles of the feet pressed tightly together, coming up high out of your hip bones. We're gonna inhale, grow tall, and exhale, start to sink down over those feet. You can use the elbows to press your hips out wider if you're someone that needs that. And dropping down, breathing into the hips here. Releasing your neck. My cat has the zoomies. It's all good. And slowly, slowly starting to come back up. We're going to extend the legs back out into Dandasana. Staff pose. And now we are going to take our right knee and bring it in tight to our bum. And we are going to either wrap around from the front, lift the arm up and over, whatever's the most comfortable for you, inhaling that right arm up overhead and other way. So wrap around your cat, stop that, jeez Louise. Wrapping that arm around your leg here. Yeah, and then inhale the other arm up overhead and twisting back. Again, inhales create space and grow you taller, and exhales squeeze you into that twist. Gazing back at that shoulder, you can tuck the chin slightly to make that a little easier on your neck. And breathe deeply into your belly here, feeling your organs get a little massage on your thigh. And inhaling, head comes back to center, followed by the rest of the body. And release that leg, and we are going to do that now on the other side. Bring that knee in, give that leg a little hug, and inhale that arm up and over, and twisting back. Again, tucking the chin slightly to gaze at that shoulder. Inhale, grow taller, and exhale, twist the body. Inhaling, the gaze comes back to center, followed by the body. And releasing that leg down. We're gonna bring our knees up and hands come behind the knees. Uh-oh, we know where this is going. We're gonna start to lean back, engaging the core here. You can start to rock back onto your heels, perhaps lifting the legs, perhaps opening the arms out to the side. Squeezing into the abs here. Breathing here. Shaking is fine. Shaking is beautiful. Staying strong and tall. One more second. And dropping down. Releasing that. Shaking it out. Guess what? We're doing it again. My cats are doing something completely different right now. Hey! Oh my heavens! Stop. They're lunatics. Jackals. Okay, leaning back, feeling the rage of two crazy cats gathering in your belly. We're gonna lift our feet up off the ground And since I know your practice and I know that you're an advanced little yogi star, we're gonna do some fun Kapalabhati breath in this pose. Hands come out to the sides. We're gonna take a deep inhale, release the exhale, and take a little sip, half inhale, and beginning our Kapalabhati. Just a little bit longer, you're almost there. And inhale, and exhale, dropping down. Gorgeous. We are gonna slide down forward, coming into our Sphinx pose. Take a load off. Aligning the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands come flat to the ground. Pressing up into your Sphinx. Now to take a little pressure off your lower back here, you can press your pelvis into the floor. Relaxing here, gaze can be up or down. And relaxing the forehead down to the mat. You can bring the arms down alongside your body, palms face up. And you know what's about to happen again. Here we go. All my surprises are spoiled. You're gonna roll the shoulders up and back and peel yourself up off the mat into your locust pose. Hands up, feet up, inhale. Or you can come fully into your bow pose. Okay. Squeeze. I want you higher, up. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, sis. Breathing into that belly, lifting that sternum high, holding here. That's beautiful. Oh. And exhale, releasing down, dropping your ear to the mat. Heels can come in, letting that go. Bringing the head to face forward, arms down by the sides. We're gonna come in one more time, peeling the shoulders back, coming up into your locust or reaching for your feet and coming into your bow pose, squeezing up, breathing here, shining that chest forward. Squeeze just a little bit higher, and release, dropping your ear to the mat and letting those heels fall in. Letting that go, sinking into the ground. And now just rolling over onto your back. We're gonna put the feet flat on the ground, close to your bum, almost so you can brush your heels with your hands. You're gonna start to tuck the shoulders in underneath the body and slowly start to lift the hips up into your bridge pose, peeling up off the ground, squeezing here, drawing the shoulders under the body, perhaps interlacing the hands. Think of shooting your chest towards your chin as you lift your pelvis just a little bit higher here, pressing into the ground and releasing your hands slowly, slowly starting to roll back down. Your tailbone is the last thing to touch. Relaxing here for a moment. And now bringing those knees up to the chest into your wind relieving pose. Squeeze those in. Give yourself a little hug, maybe rock side to side. Releasing that lower back. And dropping the feet back to the ground. You're gonna lift up your right foot and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Coming into your figure four, you can reach through and grab the back of your leg, relaxing the shoulders down to the mat, pulling those feet towards you, keeping both feet flexed and active. Breathing into that hip and glute. Inhale, create a little bit more space, and exhale, perhaps drawing that knee and foot closer to your face. And releasing that down and switching legs. Left ankle crosses over the knee and pull that knee into your figure four. Relaxing the shoulders down to the ground. Inhale, create a little more space, and exhale, pulling the knees towards you. And releasing that down. Hands come out to goddess pose or wide, whatever works with your furniture. And we're going to bring our knees up and go into a supine twist. So dropping the knees over to your right side, keeping that left shoulder rooted in the ground. Gaze can go towards your left thumb, or you can keep your head up straight if that feels better for your neck. Again, breathing deeply into your belly here. Twists are so good for releasing your lower back, bringing out the spine. And they even are very helpful with menstrual cramping. Letting that release down. Inhaling, the head comes back to center, followed by the knees. And now switching sides, dropping those knees over to the left. Gaze can go over to the right, rooting through that right shoulder blade. Breathing deep into the belly, feeling the spine wringing out. Inhaling, head back to center, followed by the knees. We're going to stretch the knees out long, and then, or the legs out long, sorry. Don't know how you can stretch your knees out long. We're going to bring that right foot a little bit wider than our mat, and then cross the left foot up over that ankle. Lifting the arms up overhead, you're going to reach with your left fingertips for your right wrist and start to wiggle over to that side, so you're into like a little crescent moon here. Relaxing the shoulders down, breathing into that side body. Stretching out the intercostal muscles, letting the left lung open up wide. And coming back through center, we're gonna open the left leg wider than the mat, crossing the right leg over, switching the grasp with the hands, and moving over into that little crescent moon, breathing into your side body. Feeling the whole right side open up. And inhaling back to center. Letting the arms come down by the sides, perhaps tucking the shoulder blades slightly to keep the chest open. Palms come up, feet drop open. Perhaps tucking the chin slightly to lengthen along the back of the neck. And relaxing here. Tuning in with your breath. Feeling into your body, noticing what's changed from the beginning of your practice. Perhaps an emotion that was present has been alleviated. Maybe a new emotion has risen up. Noticing if there's any last little areas of stress or tension in the body. Just seeing if you can let the earth take those from you, sinking into the ground. Just sinking in here. dropping down. And with your next inhale, breathing into a part of your body that you would normally send judgment. And instead, with your inhale, sending love and acceptance and gratitude. And beginning to deepen the breath slightly. Come to your fingers and toes, perhaps rolling the wrists and ankles, reaching the arms up overhead, taking a full body stretch here, perhaps releasing a sigh or a yawn. Slowly, carefully bringing the knees up and just rolling over onto your right side into the fetal position. You can use that right arm as a pillow. Just relaxing here for a moment in gratitude. And keeping the eyes closed or soft, using that left hand to press yourself up. Coming to a comfortable seated position. And again, just tuning in with your breath here. Coming back to that anchor point that we found at the beginning of the practice. And again, without judgment, just noticing if anything's shifted here. Perhaps your breath is a little bit deeper. Maybe there's more space. Maybe your anchor point has changed altogether. And bringing the hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, bowing the head slightly. In gratitude for your body and all that it does for you every day. And thanking yourself for taking time out of your day to do something just for you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The divine light in me acknowledges, honors, and bows to the divine light in you. Namaste. All done. Let me shut off this recording before you start saying terrible things.